Hi, I'm John, and today we have something a little different from Atlas. Let's go to the workbench and take a look. What? I told you it was different. This is an Atlas Cararama quarter-ton military vehicle. So I'm going to open this up and we will take a closer look at it. Did I mention it's O-scale? Okay, so I got it out of the box, and I do want to mention one thing. I said it's O-scale. It's not really O-scale. It's 1 to 43, which is close to O-scale. O-scale is 1 to 48, or very close to 1 to 48. So this could be used as an O-scale model. And the way it's installed here, there's a screw that you need to unscrew on the bottom of the package to get it out. So I'll do that and we'll take a closer look. So here we go. It was very easy to get out of the package. No problems there. The list price for this Jeep is $19.95. So this is not a train, in case you didn't notice. So I don't have a lot of the same things that I would normally talk about this model. So what we'll do instead is I'll go around the entire vehicle and point out the things that I think stand out about it. And I'm going to tell you right now, before I even get started, it's die-cast metal, so it's fairly heavy. And as I pulled it out of the box, something really cool that I didn't notice when it was inside the box are these shovels here. Well, that's a shovel. I can't tell what this other one is from the angle I'm looking at it. I'm going to look at that closer, but that's cool. That's one of those things, that doesn't really have to be there, but there it is. Yeah, so I took a closer look at the other tool down here, and I can't really tell what that is. I want to say it looks kind of like an axe. And something else I'm going to mention is when I noticed these tools here, I thought they were separately applied parts, but they're actually part of the mold. The shovel head is part of the mold of the Jeep body, and this other tool also is part of the mold, and they've painted the handles to make it look like separate parts, and it's very convincing. I honestly thought those were separately applied pieces. And something else I want to mention is that this is a full figure. It's not just, sometimes in the cabs, they'll have a figure that's just from the torso up because you can't see the rest. You kind of have to have a full figure here because you can see the guy. But I'm also noticing all these little, folds in the shirt. And I've seen O-scale and bigger modelers who will take and actually paint shadows into the creases of the fabric that's being modeled here to really great effect, I might add. And the reason they do that is shadows don't really scale down. And if you were to look at somebody like this in a real one-to-one size setting, there are shadows on people's clothing and in their face, especially when the sun is high in the sky. So that's a really cool thing that I've seen people do, and this model lends itself to that. All right, looking at the rear of the vehicle, it's pretty cool. They have the gas can on the back. This is a little whip antenna. Looks like it's made out of rubber. It does flex. And then the spare tire. And I got curious when I saw the spare tire. I got curious whether the tire is actually a separate piece. And it is. That's a rubber piece on a metal rim, as are all the tires on this model. From this angle, you can see, peeking out from underneath, some exhaust detail. We'll look at that in a minute when we look at the underside, but just wanted to show you this angle. You can see that the mounted gun up here is pretty well detailed when you look at it. All right, so from this angle, you can see that there's a rifle of some sort here in a little holster. And there's a little stick shift down in here. And you can also see that the seats are different colored. I guess that's supposed to be a leather seat. You see how it's a different color there? Pretty cool. These larger scales offer model manufacturers a chance to add a lot more detail. And it looks like they've done a good job adding that kind of detail to this model. All right, and so looking at the front here, You can see that the lights are actually separate plastic pieces inset into the mold here. And this windshield does move, but it seems to be getting caught on this rifle that's on the side. I'm going to pick it up and see if there's a way to put the windshield in the fully upright position if you want to. Well, I wouldn't quite call that fully upright, but it is upright. The point is it moves, so you don't have to have it in the down position like this if you don't want to. All right, so I mentioned I would show you the bottom, and they don't have to do this. I mean, you have suspension detail here, you get your muffler here, and just the exhaust goes up into the engine compartment. That's pretty cool. And I guess you can see some of this stuff from the side if you look at this, but you can also see transmission detail down in here. There's like a drive shaft. I mean, this is pretty cool. They don't have to do all that, but there it is. And I don't know. I like bigger scales. Like I was saying before, I like bigger scales for this reason. You can add a lot more detail to stuff. Something else I want to mention is that on Atlas's website, if you look in the O-scale vehicles, you'll find more than a dozen different vehicles, and they're all roughly O-scale. And what I mean is, some are 1 to 43. I see one that's 1 to 50. So they're not precisely O-scale, but they're very close to O-scale, and they're nicely detailed. I think this is a really cool model. I don't really have anywhere to put it because I don't have anything O-scale, like a layout or a club that I belong to that does O-scale, but I'm sure I can find a nice home for it. It kind of takes me back to my childhood, though, because I, probably like many of you, when I was a kid, was really into this Army stuff, and that would have been right up my alley. Now, I want to mention again, it's a scale model and it's not for kids. I'm just saying I would have really enjoyed looking at something like that as a kid. So that's it this time, and I'll see you next time.